diary. One day I am going to be a kick-ass witch, and I am going to take over the entire... Hello? Privacy! I am scripting here! Hi, welcome to Kick-Ass Switch, putting the K in magic. I'm Joanna DeVoe, and you are watching a video about the magic of scripting. And scripting is one of my all-time favorite magical practices. It's simple, it's quick and easy. All it requires is a pen, a piece of paper, and your imagination. I love it so much that I actually have a journal that is designated just for this practice. So I thought I'd share it with you here today. It's very much in keeping with what we're doing in the next module for the Psycho-Spiritual Wheel of the Year, which is Spring Transition. And you may call it Imbolc or Candlemas or Groundhog Day. I like to call it Spring Transition because I think of it as the time when we are transitioning from winter into spring, obviously. So the focus of that module is all about prepping and tilling the soil of our lives, so to speak, for the seeds that we intend to plant come spring. And in that module, we do a lot of really fun journal prompts and some crafting around this idea, including feng shui and the art of internal space clearing, melting resistance, ritualizing your life, lots of things like that. It's super fun. But just for today, I want to share with you this one magical technique, this one powerful technique. And if this is all you do to prepare for the spring, I think that you will be well off. This is a really handy psycho-spiritual tool to have in your magical arsenal. So what is scripting? It is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically scripting your life with intent, consciously. And like I said, all it requires is a pen, a piece of paper, and your imagination. You could use a computer, but I'm not really a fan of that because I think that your handwriting, writing something out by hand, I think that it enhances your magic. It gets your own special, your essence. You get your essence onto the page, your spiritual signature. So I'm a big fan of that. You can use a computer, but this is how I like to do it. I like to hand write it out. And before I get into explaining how to do this, which is the simplest thing in the world, it'll take me like less than a minute to explain that to you, I wanted to get into the why of it. So why scripting? Magic with a K, law of attraction, by my definition, and I didn't come up with this definition obviously, but I ascribe to it. Magic is creating change and conformity with one's will. And so it's kind of about projecting yourself into the future, an hour from now, 10 years from now, and putting some creative energy in that direction to manifest whatever it is that you are hoping to bring into your life. And as witches, funny enough, we are actually really adept at kind of doing the opposite, being really present to what is. And sorry, there's a car out there that's distracting me. Speaking of being really present to what is, it's one of those really big, I can see and hear it out the window. It's one of those big semis that carry other trucks and cars, and they're loading the trucks and cars onto it. So, humana, I need to call in all my powers of concentration and being present to what is in order to finish this video for you. Okay, so witches, they're really good at being present to what is, because that is where your point of power is. You have to be present to do magic. It's all about the power of now. That is why so many of us, that's one of the reasons why we are really into working with the Wheel of the Year and focusing on the changing seasons and the tides of the moon. It's about going with the flow and being present to what is happening now. And the power of now is your point of power. That's where you create your future. It's the only place for creation, in my opinion. If you have a different opinion, I would love to hear it. So when you consider these two things, that magic is kind of about projecting yourself into future, and being a witch has so much to do with working with the power of now, there's actually two totally different ways of looking at manifestation. So I thought it'd be really fun to present that to you here. So in the blog post down below, I talk about one way. I talk about surrendering to what is and making the most of it. So that's a lot to do with easing your way into a transition, starting with where you are, what you have now, what's going on now, and building out incrementally from there. And then in the video that you're watching right now, I wanted to talk about scripting, which has a lot to do with projecting yourself into the future and kind of like lassoing what it is you want, and then like pulling it into the present in a way that is actually tangible. You can actually see and feel it. You can revisit again and again and again because you can revisit it because it's written down on a piece of paper. And that is all scripting really entails. You need to be focused. You need to really activate your powers of visualization and imagination, but the mechanics of it involves writing. So if you can write, you can script. And all you're gonna do is get really clear on the vision that you wanna create for your life and write it down in as much detail as you can. You wanna put yourself into the situation that you're trying to create. So kind of project yourself into the future on the page and then write down every single thing about it, especially the way you feel. Write down the way this situation smells and feels and tastes, the sounds that you're hearing, the sights that you're seeing, and describe it as thoroughly as you can. The more swept away you can get, the more excited and playful you make this, the stronger your magic is going to be. And if you're not a writer, if writing is something that intimidates you, please don't let that intimidate you out of this magical practice. A way around that is just to imagine that you are writing a letter to a confidant. So your best friend, your mom, your husband, whoever you would share a really exciting piece of news with. Just pretend like you're writing a letter in the present tense about this amazing thing that's happening to you right now, and you're so excited this is happening, and this is what you're seeing, and this is what you're smelling, and this is what you're hearing, and put all of the joy that you would put into a letter to your mom or your best friend or whoever, put that into your scripting, and then when you are done, you can do the same process again and again and again and continue to hone and refine your vision. Or if you're satisfied with it, you can just read it whenever you feel like it. Or thirdly, you can burn it. You can just do it one time with a lot of intensity and energy and then set it on fire. Fire is something that a lot of people work with during Imbolc, during the spring transition, so that might be really a significant piece of symbolism to work with. You're just releasing it into the world so that it can go out and do its magical thing. If you try this, I would love to hear all about it. Write me in the comment section down below, shoot me an email, whatever. It'd be really fun to hear about your experiences with scripting. And if you want to join us for the spring transition module, you can sign up for that right now. You can visit www.psychospiritualwheeloftheyear.com, or you can just follow the links down below and sign up that way. And until we meet again, I'm sending you much love and magic. Peace.